the host.
I did it.
Perfect. So we just like to drop in the chat if anyone is interested. There is an interest survey that we usually drop in the chat, and it's an opportunity just to kind of tell us a little bit about your business, what you do, and potentially what you think you'd be interested in as it relates to an intern.
And I did drop the link in the chat, so feel free, as we talk through what the internship program is all about, just feel free to complete the form if it feels like something you want to explore further, and we'll be following up after the event, of course, with more information.
Perfect. So here's our agenda. These internships that we're discussing today, we're going to talk about virtual. We also have in-person internships for our partners that are in any of the 5 boroughs in New York City. So if anyone has any friends, colleagues, or partners that are New York based, that are actually located physically in New York City, please let us know. Please forward the information on, because that is where our actual in-person internships will take place. But for the sake of today's meeting, we are going to focus on our virtual internships. I'm assuming everybody is not in New York. Perfect. Okay. Agenda. So we'll talk through areas of interest, the different needs for our students, and what is needed from an employer perspective to make this successful, what we need to make this a good quality internship. We'll talk about next steps. We'll talk about exciting events that we have coming up. We'll plug a few unique things that we have going on our social media, our LinkedIn. We'll talk through a lot of things, very high level, what our program offers outside of just a typical internship. We'll also flash up on our screen our contact information, as well as give you guys an opportunity for Q&A. The presentation is not that long, as we want to make sure we leave time for question and answer time. Perfect. So what are the key benefits of our program? Aside from just having a student be able to provide different work functions for your business, it's an opportunity for you to potentially find future employees. As we know, we are in a complete virtual world right now. COVID taught us how to transition into that type of work atmosphere. So you have the opportunity to find future employees, meaning that they can work virtually. You get an extra set of hands for any existing current tasks that you may be working on right now, where as an entrepreneurial small business owner, you just may not have the time to really dedicate to it. So in this internship, you can disseminate and pass some of that work down, of course, with proper explanation and training and mentorship to get some of those special projects done. It gives you the opportunity to focus on business needs that you may not get a chance to focus on any everyday, ordinary day of work. Additionally, learning technology skills. Our youth are very fruitful when it comes to understanding technology, the ins and outs of it. They've completely been born and raised and come up in this era of time where technology basically is a true survival skill in having a strong business success. Mentorship, you get the opportunity to mentor our youth today, as well as test our leadership skills as a leader, as an employer. You get to facilitate and train and teach and really have a chance to exemplify work-based learning experience for our youth. Coming up here, this will be for the winter and spring of 2023. We just launched our fall cohort on Monday, so we are really excited. It's 6 weeks of internship, and it's going to go through the middle of December. That particular cohort is going to go for 6 weeks. Our winter, spring, we're looking at about 8 weeks time frame, give or take a little bit. The hours that we require for our internship is 4 to 7 p.m. Eastern time, typically because our students are in school. So it gives them time to get out of school, kind of unwind a little bit, and then go right into the internship work. Program specifics. So our program is fully funded by the Department of Education in New York City. What that means is they kind of stipulate a lot of the guidelines, a lot of the requirements, They really kind of set the framework for what the program looks like. The program, again, by it being fully funded, the students are paid $15 an hour, which is the New York City minimum wage. So while it is free to you guys, it is actually, the students actually earn actual wages. We want this to really truly feel like it's a real job, which means you, the employer, you kind of stipulate the curriculum. What does the work-based learning experience look like? As well as approving their time card. So they will put their time in, you will go in and approve it based on the work that you have dedicated and provided them with. All of our students are participants of New York City Public Schools, and they are all on a CTE track, meaning they have identified exactly where they want to go, what they want to do, what they're looking to do in a career path. So within the CTE schools, we work with a bunch of different CTE schools in New York City. And so they all have a focus on different CTE tracks. We'll go into a little bit more detail of that in just a few. We host these information sessions quite frequently over the course of our program, as well as some additional networking seminars, which we'll talk about those as well. So what does our employer need to really make this a strong and successful internship? Definitely office resources, since we are talking about a fully virtual environment. So be it a laptop, be it your PC, but in order to communicate and facilitate curriculum, that is done exactly like how we're doing it today. We create a room. In that room, you can use whatever platform. You can use Zoom, WebEx, Teams, whatever works for you. We just want to make sure that the students have appropriate and proper logins to be able to receive the work that's necessary, to be able to fully execute on the internship. 80 hours virtually is what this looks like, and it is spread out over the course of an 8-week period. Additionally to the 8 hours, we want to make sure that our employers dedicate an additional 1 hour for administrative tasks. That administrative task can be anything from signing a training plan, from approving the hours for the students' time cards. But there's always the need to make sure that we have additional time outside of the 80 hours of virtual curriculum. We ask that you have a desire to give back, that you want to foster young talent. By that, we mean the students, they are juniors and seniors in high school. They've identified where they think they want to go in life, right? Doesn't mean that they fully get it, doesn't mean that they have all the expertise that's needed to be fully successful. So in fostering this talent, we just ask that everyone make sure that they are in teach mode, right? And to always have in mind that this is a teaching environment. We want to make sure that we are equipping them and giving them as much information as we possibly can to set them up for a career track or field for whatever they've decided that they wanted to go in. By that, we want to make sure that the tasks are student appropriate, that it is in line with what the expectations are for their internship. These hours will count towards their graduation. So these are mandatory hours that the students must have. So we need to make sure that it is bearing fruit and that it falls in line precisely with what the expectations are of their career track. The student needs. So it's a two-sided equation. It's not just what you need. The students also have to have the desire to learn. They have to have a strong work ethic because this is outside of school hours. So they need to make sure that they are focused and that they're dedicated. They have to participate in a CTE track. The good news is that the schools that we work with are only CTE schools. And so that part is a given. So that box is already checked. The students are required as well to have a strong Wi-Fi connection, to have the appropriate computer setup. They are fully equipped to be able to receive the trainings and curriculums. They also have to give the extra 80 hours, right? They have to be able to be available. They have to be able to put the time in that's required. Because again, this goes towards their graduation and their curriculum hours. And of course, they have to be curious. They have to want to really know. They have to want to be able to pull back these layers. They have to really want to be engaged. And so we ask that from an employer perspective, equip them, give them as much information as possible. Having on their cameras, being able to be responsive. Those are things that kind of help get them ready and prepared for the real world also. So I am now going to turn it over to Anna for the latter part of our presentation.
Great, thank you, Kia. So just wanted to pause for a second. I mean, we do have a relatively small group, and wanted to see if there might be any questions on the information that was shared, anything that came up as, you know, a wonder. It would be a good time to kind of jump into the conversation early before I start going into like the details of positions. And if you have a question, come off mute. Yeah, I think we're small enough group to address everyone's questions.
What is CTE?
Great question, thank you. So CTE stands for Career Technical Education. From kind of historically, this is what's been vocational schooling. So vocational schooling is no longer used as a kind of identifier of this pathway. So essentially, students who are on CTE track in school, they are studying vocational trades. Vocational trades have been expanded. I mean, historically, it's been something that you do with your hands, more construction trades, maybe automotive. Now we have 8 different industries that fall within that kind of vocational career technical education track. And those include IT, business and finance, media tech and design, construction, engineering and architecture. We have healthcare, we have hospitality and tourism, we have culinary. We also are working with, I think I'm missing one, automotive and transportation. I think I mentioned that, but those are kind of the industry segments, if you will. Industry portfolios. A lot of virtual employer partners kind of fall in between IT, media and finance, well, business and finance and media and design. So social media and kind of like a little bit of a variety of different tasks fall within that. All right, great question. Any other questions? Don't be shy. If this is something that you're hearing for the first time, you might want to pinch yourself and say, oh, is this really true? Is it possible to get a free intern and you know, somebody who can actually do the work? And yes, it is possible. Students are getting paid through the funding that is provided by Department of Education. So essentially, Department of Education created this program so that once students graduate high school and have this or similar type of experience on their resume, they become a lot more employable. And after turning 18, or right about when they turn 18, when they graduate high school, they're able to go in a workforce with, you know, a little bit of confidence and some experience, references from employers, reference letters. You know, there's a lot of benefits that students actually obtain, not just a paycheck. So that's kind of how the program came about. With recent administration here in New York City, program has gotten a lot of good feedback. We've been doing this work for the last 6 years, and we're going to be in year 7. So we are, if you choose to become part of our employer partner database and just a pipeline of offering, we just to give you some numbers, we in the winter spring session, which will be anywhere between February to May, we're going to be placing about 2,000 students into different opportunities. So this is a huge initiative. I mean, the reason we're able to kind of connect with smaller groups is because we have this established network of supporting partners that are really excited and, you know, kind of want to bring this further as a resource to some of their networks. So excited again to be here talking about this. Yeah, well, Kia, do you mind dropping the form again in the chat? I think there is an ask for that, but I can do that later as I finish talking. So any more questions? Any more? At the moment, I think, yeah, we're good. Okay, so some things that I will mention.
Hey, Anna, I don't think I can drop it because I can't get off the screen because it's
Okay.
going to, yeah, in the
Okay.
middle of the press.
Um,
So, yeah.
Yeah, I'll let's see if I can do it from here. 1 second. Oh, thank you. Somebody did. All right, so I guess a question that one might have, all right, so I want to get a student, but how do I know that they actually can do what I need them to do? So, and this is how we come about to kind of the next couple of slides. So students are attending New York City public schools. So students will be part of very diverse workforce, diverse in character, but also diverse in skill. So students are already enrolled into a specific program, and by being enrolled, it means that they're taking extra classes that are classes either you would, sort of take on your own as a certificate classes, or you would need to be enrolled in college in order to get those specialized classes. So, but students in New York City public high school system that are enrolled in career technical education have access to this, to these classes. So, for example, if students are enrolled in an IT curriculum in their school, an IT CTE program, they might already know or have done some sort of project work within the school around web development, familiar with cybersecurity, maybe IT, data analytics and analysis, help desk and database management. Sometimes it's it's a little bit more basic, sometimes it's knowing how to manipulate between different types of apps and programs, and what is useful and what is currently used, and how to use Canva, and how to make images, and how to post it on social media, and how to figure out what is the purpose and mission of the company, and kind of do a lot of activity and engagement of followers that are within that alignment. So within business and finance, I think also small business owners, solopreneurs or entrepreneurs really have a lot of things on their plate, right? You kind of have to monitor so many things. You have to create a lead list. You need to reach out to customers. You need to convert them to paying customers. You need to keep track of, money coming in and out. There's a lot of communication that's involved. There's just a business development strategy, kind of doing research on competitors, and also figuring what is the strategy, for the new year or for the next quarter. So growth strategy, so sales, research and development. And again, there are many, many categories, and we just kind of put some of the general categories here just to get everyone's juices going, kind of thinking about, oh yeah, I need to do that, or yes, I'm doing that now, and I want to increase my, let's say, customer base by 10% or 20%, right? And I just didn't have a capacity to, let's say, make extra 100 phone calls, right, or something like that. So this is where student skills and time can be utilized. Students will be available to work after school hours, and all of them will be on Eastern Standard Time. So anywhere between about 4 o'clock to 7, they'll be available to do the work that you assign to them. A lot of employers, again, a lot of virtual internships are kind of falling within the media and design realm, because a lot of employers are seeking help and assistance with their social media platforms, putting their products out there, letting the community know, kind of advocating or becoming part of the local community, finding partners and things like that. So students are really good at creating content, posting content, creating schedules for content release, interacting with audiences, either through social media, calls, emails, follow-ups. So there's a lot of multi steps that are part of media and design. So a lot of students already have graphic design and social media skills, and just a design skill, right? Just to have an idea, oh, I want to put, some sort of a poster out there for an event that's coming up, and just giving that idea and theme, and maybe the content that needs to go on the poster, and student will be able to put something together for you. And some of these things are quite easy and fast and simple for younger talent who already knows how to use technology or apps, or what works on social media. So this is where kind of utilizing their skill sets and talent could be really useful for a lot of employers. So if there's a great question by Debbie. So if, let's say, you're running a small business and you have different needs, right? You might need an intern to help you develop a business lead list, and also you need an intern to help you develop content, let's say for the next 2 or 3 months. So we would, in that case, you would ask for 2 interns, and we would find 2 different people that have these set skills that would be required for each one of these jobs. So all of it is possible. All of it is, within the realm of the program. Maximum number of students that one employer can manage at a time would be 3. So again, make sure that you have sufficient amount of work for the intern to kind of allocate to. But other than that, there's definitely room to explore, variety of different things that the student can do within the internship. So sometimes if you feel like, well, I'm not sure if I have enough work, for 2 interns, then maybe we can find an intern. Let's say you're thinking about how, the students will be starting, let's say in February. February is first quarter of the month. You might be in a flower business and you're like, oh yes, I do want to put out a lot of advertisements for, Valentine's Day and Women's Month and things like that. And that's when your business is thriving. So student can help you kind of like create a lot of content. So you would maybe want to think about your individual business needs, and think what is the best usage of students' time and what project that would be the most helpful on. And this is how you would decide or what type of intern to engage or ask for. We also have construction and engineering as a sector, as a segment. I mean, I'm not sure if there are a lot of employer partners on the call that would fall in that, but again, anything along the line of drafting, design, interior design. It could be organizing, could be, it depends on what type of business you have. Students who have that interest already and have kind of spatial awareness and have done different projects in school will be very useful and helpful, as interns for the short time that they will be working with your organization. Okay, do you mind moving to the next slide?
Yes, I'm trying to get it to advance.
All right.
It's giving me trouble. I don't know why it won't go.
So I'll just keep talking. I mean, so there are other industry sectors, and as soon as the slide will come on, I'll share what those are. But again, in essence, we are looking for, oh, here we go. So we have automotive, healthcare, culinary, hospitality, and tourism. Sometimes employers find themselves, oh, I'm running a nonprofit business. It doesn't really fit in within your categories. So that's fine. Most likely the functions of the role that intern would be doing and task would probably fall within maybe business administration if there's different tasks that the student requires to do. So just again, after the call, if you complete the form, we can have one-on-one conversations to ensure that everyone's clear on kind of like what needs to be done, and how you would need to position the need that you might have for the intern to make it a successful internship experience. Kia, do you mind moving on? I mean, automotive is really more about fixing cars and technician and oil changes, and that's something that we actually have students do only locally in New York City. So I'm gonna share the LinkedIn page group. We just a couple months ago we realized, well, we realized a while ago, but a couple months ago, we thought of creating official LinkedIn page for employer partners. At this point, we have over 500 employer partners from different company sizes and just city agencies and solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, sometimes entrepreneurs who are just starting out. So I'll call them entrepreneurs wannabes, right? So sometimes you have an idea, but you just haven't fully, laid out the business plan, but you're really already like in full motion. You still qualify to participate. In order to participate, business does not need to have a tax ID. Business needs to have a name. We do require an address because it's a field without which we cannot move in the application process. But again, this is more just to get the form going. The communication between the employer and the student will happen virtually, similar to how we're connecting now. It would be through Zoom session where you would connect with the student, assess their skill set and give assignments based on what is needed to be done for your organization. Quite simple to get onboarded. The main key, I would say it's a 3-step process. So number one, fill out the Google form. Just let us know that you're interested. We'll follow up with details. Number two, it would be completing a host site application. And this is just a basic application to get into the program, into the system. All students do get paid through the Department of Education. So in order for that transaction to continue kind of occurring, we do need to have employers as part of the database. So when you're completing the application, you're becoming your organization gets approved to participate in the program. So without that, we just cannot move forward with the internships. If you click on the Google form link, there will be instructions right at the top in the description of what to follow, but do expect an email for those of you that completed the form. Here we'll probably be sending an email follow-up with step-by-step instructions of what to do, and then following up with all of you to make sure we get you onboarded for the next group of students. All right, perfect. If you are interested, or if you think you're interested, or you might be interested, get in touch with us. We definitely want to hear from you. We want to make sure, this whole hour is carved out so that we can answer questions. If you have doubts, uncertainties, you just have some sort of holdbacks, or you're really excited to share it with us. We've done this work for a while. We are very proud of the work that we're doing. There's really no catch for employers. You're at no point will you be asked to contribute, anything financially. The only requirement is you kind of think about the project and make sure that you will have sufficient amount of work to offer the student for the duration of the cohort. If you are interested in, if you go through spring cohort and you feel like, wow, this was such a great experience, I want to continue. We do have funding allocated yearly. So for this school year, we are already secured for a spring internship cohort and summer internship cohort. So most of the employer partners that will participate in the spring will be eligible to participate in the summer as well. And summer internship will be similar. The only difference is students usually get more hours. So if this spring students will get 80 hours, in the summer they usually get 150 hours. So you would get a student that can work 25 hours per week. So pretty much, definitely part-time, but close to full-time employment for that student. So again, more questions, are welcomed. And again, if you don't feel like sharing questions in this sort of public forum, definitely reach out to Kia. She can answer, whatever specific questions you might have. And all right, so the Google form, we already have the Google form here, but again, it can be posted just in case you didn't catch it. Yep, it's right here. So feel free to, to complete. If you do think that this is a good, interesting program, we are actually in the process of recruiting more employer partners to join us. So we are doing quite a few of these types of info sessions, but feel free to share the link, the link to the forum with your network and anyone who might be interested, and we'll reach out to them and just get them informed and hopefully get them to participate in the program as well.
I think Ronell has a question.
All right.
Thank you. You said, Anna, that there were 3 steps. 1, fill out the form. 2, complete the host site application. And what's the 3rd step?
And the 3rd step would be to meet the student. So the way our process works, we have a team, they're called program team. So they're the ones, Key and myself, and we have a few other team members. We are a partnership team. So we develop partnerships for all the students that engage with the program. And we have a partnership team, and partnerships team, they're the ones who are interviewing students, making sure students have the right skill set and making sure that the students are matched to the right opportunities. And about 2 weeks or 10 days before the start of the internship, we do what's called a meet and greet session. And you get a chance to virtually meet the student that you were matched with. And this is a good practice process that we established to ensure a good start, right? So it's good for people to meet sort of virtually face to face, talk about, the job, what needs to be done, what kind of skills and interests students have, just to have a good first day experience. So step 3 would be to get matched with a student, to meet the student.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. One other thing that I wanted, this was the slide that took me a little minute to put together. So we are hosting Friendsgiving networking event. And as I mentioned earlier, and something Kia mentioned earlier, we grew over the years of doing the program, and we have established quite a large network of partners, a lot of solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, a lot of folks who are running different types of networking events, speakers, public figures, authors of books. I'm just thinking, well, we have so many different unique opportunities and unique companies that participate. And one of the asks that came up through some of the surveys that we do at the end of each cohort was networking. Folks are looking to network. They're looking to build partnerships, establish connections, learn from one another. So to answer the ask, we started doing quite a few networking events. So the next one is coming up on the 17th, and we are really excited. We're anticipating over 50 employer partners to join. It might be closer to 100. Kind of too soon to say. A lot of people really wait until the last minute to respond to surveys and just kind of let us know. So it's exciting, and I'm going to put a link in the chat for those that might want to join. This is going to be a great event. So pretty much what you can anticipate, we have a guest speaker, and she's the author of the book, and it's all about connections, and she will lead one of the networking breakout rooms. So if you're thinking of how to expand your business, or where can you find connections, or kind of trying different methods and maybe it's not working out, she's wonderful. She'll have a lot to say and a lot of advice. So that's kind of our guest speaker. We also will be raffling a lot of prizes. And a lot of prizes are also pretty much focused for small business owners. We'll have one-on-one consultations about how do you present your product best, how to maybe create a PowerPoint presentation or use Canva for social media flyers, or Excel to just keep track and stay organized within your business. So we have a lot. I mean, I think we have about 7 or so giveaways. So super excited. We have never done that before, but it's sounding very promising. A lot of people are responding well to just a general idea of what's to come. So so that's the networking event, and again, it's going to take place on the 17th. And I'm going to post the link in just a second. And this is a registration link. Again, we want to make sure we stay connected and engage with everyone, and update you on anything new that's coming up. So the link is here. Okay. And the event will be again November 17th at 2 Eastern. We do anticipate the event being an hour and a half or so. Last time we ran similar event, it was, we only allocated an hour and we ran out of time. So this time it's an hour and a half. So we're hoping to have at least maybe 5 different breakout rooms. Maybe we'll have a chance to do twice, so that everyone gets a chance to connect, share information about your business, maybe have a small business pitch to share with other folks, and just see what people are doing, and get a sense of community. And it's not easy to be entrepreneur or solopreneur, and sometimes kind of working virtually or a bit isolated could feel hard, tough. I'm sure there are good reasons for the pathway that many people are choosing, and it's it's inspiring and very much interesting to create something new that people need. So definitely applaud of all of your efforts. Definitely want to celebrate all of that. So join the networking event if you feel called to do that. All right, and last slide would be questions and answers. So if there are more questions, we'd love to take them, get your feedback, or just to get a conversation going. And if somebody wants to come off mute and maybe just kind of like share what you're thinking, this could be useful, and we can just talk like what type of intern would be best, or skill set that students should have. I mean, we're pretty friendly here. Yes.
Well, I just want to definitely, the reason for putting this on and putting effort in getting some business owners together for me is because I've been in the program. Oh, this is my second time around. And I don't think it's just the employees learning. I've learned from them, which is kind of interesting, because you would say, oh my goodness, they're so young. What do they have to give? But, they've asked me poignant questions at times. They asked me for my rationale at times, and I love the whole collaboration thing. And I really encourage that, because I know you grow through collaboration. So I really do endorse the program. And I really would suggest anyone who's been here just to run after it. It's been a gift to me.
Well, thank you. That's great. That's lovely to hear. Yeah, and again, I think recently we had somebody new joining the team, and they were sharing, well, what's the value proposition of the program? And kind of doing this work for a number of years, I thought, wow, the list goes on. Everyone really, every employer partner really seeks something unique out of it. Sometimes, as Rosalind mentioned, you learn so much of what's out there, maybe more efficient way of operating business, quicker, some of the shortcuts that exist with apps, and just kind of like somebody who's very much born into technology. Some of the things are very innate and natural to them. Some employer partners are seeking help, right? They would prefer to actually hire someone, but it's hard. It's hard to find talent at the entry level. Let's say you're looking, for something, variety of tasks for them to do, like administrative type of work, but you're having a hard time to even finding people. So what a lot of employers do, they participate in the program. They identify students that seem to excel and really, take it quick. And at the end of the internship, they offer them some sort of part-time employment, or they are actually looking to subcontract, so kind of give them project work, right? It doesn't have to be a continuous employment, because these are students that are still attending high schools, so they will be in their senior or junior year of schooling, so they're not necessarily quite ready to take full-time work. So any type of employment is already a big plus to them, so they're not as picky, they're not as selective. They just want to learn. So it's more of a fun after school activity, if you will, in the sense of learning. So a lot of employers participate for that. Some folks really like, they work alone. They're solopreneurs, they work remotely, and they need that human component. So students become their partners and just to brainstorm ideas and validate some of the things. So a lot of employers do that as well. Again, students do all the work, but the reasons why employers actually engage and continue engaging with the program, they vary and change over time. And oftentimes, we've had a number of these cases where students, after they finished high school and sometimes after they went into, colleges, employers reached out back to them and hired them full time. So it's a full circle. It's a recruitment program. Try it before you buy. It's a mentorship program. It's all the good things that one can think of. It's definitely helping youth make that first step into the world of work and really show what needs to be done, and kind of teaching them flexibility around, in business, you just have to solve so many different problems, and you just never know what problem you're solving, the next day. So sometimes it's kind of exposing students to that, really broadens their horizons and makes them a lot more mature in how they approach, schoolwork or just life and choices that they make.
Who's ready?
All right.
Debbie, I see you have a question.
No, I'm ready. I'm like ready now. I'd love to have these interns now, today.
Perfect.
I see. I see
Today might
something.
not be the day.
It says if we have more than one area of interest, would we want one intern for each area of interest?
Yeah, I think I touched on that a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Debbie, since you're kind of jumped and you're ready, what type of business do you have, and what type of interns are you thinking of?
Well, actually, I do have a question. I went ahead and filled out the Google form and then also that application, but then it asks you can't submit it unless you pick a school.
Okay, it's a great, yep.
I don't know anything about any of those schools, but I'm in the
Yes, pick the
service.
first school on the list.
Okay.
Because
So it doesn't-
yeah, it's a DOE form. Unfortunately, we've been trying to take that field off.
Okay.
So when you're filling out a form, you're kind of filling out initial inquiry to participate in the program. It's not
Okay.
with specific school, it's not with a specific student.
Okay.
By the time we get to matching time, which probably going to be sometime in January, we'll know exactly which students are ready to be matched to the opportunity. So we will be adjusting the school at that time. So for now,
Okay. Just
any
pick
school.
one. Okay.
Yeah, just pick school. yeah.
My industry is service, a psychotherapist. However, I'm getting away from the one-on-one, and it's not traditional talk therapy. There's a methodology I use to tap into the subconscious. So I am going to do recordings and package that. And that package, I have a target audience. So anyway, I'm going to package it. And so I'm going to, utilize a larger area, getting away from the one-on-one and get people into my Facebook group and so forth. So
Okay. So what is the actual task you're thinking the student can help you?
Well, there were 3 areas, the IT and the finance and business, as well as the media and design. So those 3 areas, like today, however, come January, February, depending on how I do these next 2 or 3 months, I would say it would still be media and design, because I would need a lot of outreach and so forth. I'd say probably still those 3 areas. However,
Yeah.
I'll know more as the months come. But yeah,
Sure.
definitely those 3 areas I see continuous
Yeah,
in the
perfect.
business. Mhm.
Yeah, and thank you for sharing. So I think what I will highlight, any type of wellness, I'm not sure the right way to categorize your business, but health wellness oriented businesses would fall under the healthcare category that we have, even though it's sort of not exactly accurate. So we will definitely be able to connect you with students who are already, kind of thinking about, wellness and care and mental health and all of those things. And sometimes it's
Self-development.
really critical, so that students are vested because they're passionate, because they want to learn themselves and kind of want to learn, see how they can contribute. But we also will definitely have, students who are particularly media savvy, right? So if you're looking to record, so maybe there's editing that needs to be done, or if you're looking to do a podcast, maybe they can research some of the best platforms to do that, to engage higher audiences, and all of that. So
Yeah. Yeah.
so all of that is really, great, because again, you are setting the pace for what students bring back as a outcome, as a deliverable, and the more specific you are, kind of the more accurate information that comes back to you, so that you can, maybe not spend 3 hours researching platforms, but just have immediately, okay, I have 2 choices. Let me just take a look and assess which one is best. And you can also task students to create like an assessment of, let's say, platforms. I'm just kind of throwing it out there based on what you're shared, but anything goes. We had an employer who was making clothing, and she wanted to change her label, so she was researching, she was asking students to research the label costs, and label styles and all of that. So even though it's such a trivial piece of, it's not something that's seen, but it's definitely something that's recognized, hours and hours of research that went into it, kind of students put the work. So again, as an example of where students' skills and time could be utilized.
Definitely. I've already, yes, since
All
I've been
right.
on this call, it's already there. I'm glad you brought up healthcare though, because that form is still open. I did click other, put service, but I'll go back and make sure I click healthcare. That's
Awesome.
more appropriate for wellness.
Yes. Yeah,
Thank you
absolutely.
for that.
All right. All right. And again, there's no pressure. So if you kind of, after hearing all of it, if you think, oh, I'm not sure if I have enough time to dedicate to mentoring the student and assigning tasks, or I don't have enough tasks to assign, we will have this program again run in the summer. So we will be sharing information with existing partners, and we'll probably, those that are completing the form will inform you of the next cohorts, even if you choose not to participate in this one, just so that you are informed. And again, this is a free program. The only obligation is kind of work with the student and provide them enough hours and just quality experience, right? We want to make sure that employers are kind. These are high school students. Sometimes they just don't know exactly how to communicate something, or they might get frustrated and because something is not working out. So just, talking through some of those points, but really supporting students in their growth and development as they, becoming adults and learning how to work.
I want to share that. So we started our fall cohort on Monday, and we tried something a little different this time, where we really focused on employers that we partnered with before in the past. And I have to say, like, we are still turning people away that are still trying to like get into the program. So don't take too long to think about it, because it may seem like it's far away, but I can assure you the spaces that we have will be going very quickly. It's just an amazing program. Once you're in, we have partners that have been participating, gosh, 5, 6 cohorts over. And the program just continues to grow and develop, and we gain new schools, and we try to diversify as much as we can. But once we usually get a partner, they usually stay with us for as long as forever is.
As long as forever is. I like that. Alrighty. Any more
Yeah, we're
questions?
done.
I have one
Eileen
question.
has a question.
So I
Okay.
have a question. So definitely I would want somebody in IT. And I was also kind of looking at the design area as well, because I think it kind of, there's some crossover. I do tech implementation for entrepreneurs. And this actually fits really well into my goals, which is I wanted to not only do I do tech for entrepreneurs, but I would like to train people to learn how to do all these different systems and applications so that they can then be able to do what I do. And
Nice.
so, so it's kind of like really fits into what my like eventual goal for my business is. So I look forward to having maybe a few people have a little bit, maybe IT and some design, kind of a mix of that. Because I think that there's both pieces in what I do, and I would love to teach them on all the, I mean, I literally learn new tools almost every week for my
Yeah.
clients, right? Because there's just so many things out there, and I would love to be able to take that, what I'm learning, and teach that, and have that person then be able to go and do some of that as well, and build systems in there. So I think that this fits really well with where I'm going and what I want to do. So I'm
Yeah,
really
that sounds
excited.
great.
So thanks.
Yeah, super
Eileen,
exciting. Yeah, we
Oh,
always
mhm.
have kind of need for IT partners because yeah, it's definitely a growing not only industry, but the students are particularly excited about IT because everything is IT now, right? So there's like, no matter what industry you're in, IT is definitely a big segment of that industry. So yeah, a lot of interest that students have in that regard. But also again, I'm gonna plug in Friendsgiving. If you're curious to see what other types of businesses join, if this is something that speaks to you, if you have like, maybe you want to ask somebody else who participated in the program a question of how it actually is. Well, Rosalind here isn't on the call, but outside of this specific group, it just happens that it's so close. So you're all are invited to join, and we usually make it fun. We dress up, but we haven't discussed what we're dressing up as, but for these events. But yeah, it's an exciting event to kind of like gather as a community, because I think all the participants and all employer partners and kind of like outside of day-to-day business, we're all human beings, and this is really impactful on students' lives and their families' lives and on the future of workforce. And we can kind of grow impact here significantly, and just kind of thinking through all the impactful ways this programs matters. But working with youth is unique. So yeah, we're really excited again to be here to share this and share all the kind of information and resources. And we will have also workshops coming up in the new year for employers as well. It's kind of like an expansion of the program. So we want to make sure that everybody's supported, not only the students, but employers as well.
I was going to share. So as we talk about like these tech skills, Eileen, It was just so surprising. So I've been with this program, been with Grant over 5 years, but I've been with this program, this particular program, a year. And so my most probably rewarding moment was experiencing the interviews of the students. So we go through this process of where the students get interviewed. And so we understand like their skill set, what they want to do, their people skills, their tech skills. So we talked through it with them, and they were just so articulate and so passionate for young people. It just completely blew me away. I was like, I wish that was me at 16, like knew what I wanted to do, because I was so lost and just wandering aimlessly through the world. And they were just articulating, and I was really in awe. And then I participated in a meet and greet a couple cohorts ago, and one of the students on there was sharing his talents and his accomplishments. And one was completely designing a website for a restaurant in New York City that actually got implemented, like full out website. Amazing, amazing, amazing work. So they're awesome. They're really good kids. Way smarter than I was, that's for sure.
Great, awesome. Well, thank you for sharing, Kia. So I just checked the form, Google form. We have a couple of people that completed it. If you're having, again, any difficulties or at all, let us know. Kia, I don't know if you want to put your email maybe in the chat just before we close, so folks have it easily accessible. I think, Rosalind, you have everyone's contact, so we'll try to email everyone kind of as a follow-up from this conversation, so you know what the next steps might be.
I have one last question. I'm going to be, talking to a couple other people about this. Are you going to have any other informational webinars like this before January?
We have them often. They are with different groups. We do have a couple of our own, but similar to this one, if you feel you have a group, 5+ folks, would love to join. Maybe one of us will join and talk to the group, or we can invite you, to be part of the bigger conversation or bigger group. So there are different variations of how we can do that. I think as a follow-up, maybe in the email, maybe we can include the next form that we have. I think we have an Eventbrite set up for that, or a Zoom link set up for that event. So we can share that information as well.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. And Rosalind, if you feel like there's interest potentially to host another one of these, we would love to do that as well, if it's easier to bring the audience together.
I don't know. I'm getting fired up. This is probably something I'll be doing on the regular, because
Let's do it.
Former teacher, and seeing this kind of program for youngsters. I wish this was around when I was 16 and 17.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Kia. I would have had a little bit more direction. And so, yeah, I definitely would like to set up another one with different people. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, we do have, a short period of time generally when we recruit new folks, and then we pause before the next cohort. So usually, so for now, we are recruiting up probably until beginning of January, and then we'll pause, and we'll probably start again in April or so for the summer cohort. So plenty of time, but of course, there's we're working with different timelines. So we always welcome new partners, but I think it's satisfying to kind of be able to get an intern soon rather than, in the summer. So yeah, just kind of be mindful, but definitely keep us posted of what seems to make sense, and we're here to support. All righty, so it's 5:05 here on East Coast. Thank you all for joining. Want to close, or maybe I'm just gonna pause for a second if there's any last pressing questions, and before we part. All right, no questions. Great. So complete the form if you're interested. If you're having difficulties either completing the form or reaching out, Rosalind will be your contact or a link to us. So we'll be able to connect you further and assist you in any way that we can. Thank you again. Have a lovely evening. And yeah, hopefully we'll be working together soon. Thank you so much.